Qysh mu brish në brea T'kalon me ma baby ku po shko Kuku ta me ke me mlon fat Shkuto me mlon fat Si e medi ku po shko Sigur unë ku mun është me qet Unë për ty bëj kejt I ti hebi Tëna, 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 tëna Unë tes për ty Tëna, 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 tëna Unë vaj për ty I'm a dog who
Alright guys, my first time going live here, enjoying a nice sunset. So shout out to anybody who's gonna watch in the future. 0 people in right now, but I'm still gonna treat it as if we are in a live space. So appreciate everybody that's going to watch this. I'm here again on the coast in Albania. And the reason why I call this why Albanians need Bitcoin. It's more than just Albanians who will need it. I think there will be a lot of people who will hopefully around the world reap the benefits of Bitcoin, right? For number one, I just want to say shout out to Lerdivula, that's a beautiful song. If you don't know it, Donat, T-O-N-A-T, was the introduction to today's video. Nice sunset again on the coast here. As I'm driving down through Albania, one of the things I saw were many greenhouses. Now, obviously before, you can only farm certain vegetables during a certain part of the season. So it had to be something where, all year round, you could not grow food. That's one of the reasons why, you think about all the heat that miners produce. And put inside of a greenhouse, people have seen many videos on them. If you haven't, do the research. But this is one thing that I think people who are in Albania should take a interest in, because we are obviously getting more into greenhouse farming. Number one, it is more of a tropical climate in the southern part, but in the northern part, it obviously is much colder. And with the energy crisis that happens here, energy is so expensive, not just in Albania, but also throughout Europe. Obviously, many parts of the world are seeing it now, especially after COVID. What Bitcoin helps and what Bitcoin provides is more efficient ways to actually get into the generation of energy. That's number one. Number two, just like El Salvador that legalized Bitcoin as a currency, most of the money that goes into El Salvador and Bitcoin comes from the outside. Now, whether that be tourism or just sent from diaspora, people who are living outside, sent back to their family members, this all goes through banks, whether it be individual bank, whether it be a MoneyGram or RIA or any one of these services. They all charge a fee to not only send the money, but also to receive it, I believe. So to me, it's one of these things where when you have Bitcoin, it's a peer-to-peer network. So you're directly sending Bitcoin to somebody, and you don't have to ask anybody, can you send it? They can receive it right when they want. One of the things that in my first video, one of the questions I was asked is for people who, when you use Bitcoin, how could you sell it or what can you do with it? We're using Bitcoin to send to our family members who are in a certain country or a certain place in the world, and they wouldn't have to sell it for anything if the farmers markets or the supermarkets or the stores, the cafes, the restaurants were all to accept Satoshis, as a form of payment. I think that is definitely the way that we are going to go to, and the way we're going to see the rest of the world. So for me also, obviously the inflation, I saw today Argentina's inflation is over 100%. In Albania it's about $1 equals 100 lek. LEK is the currency here. It's one of these things where it's only getting worse, and the pay wages are so low. When I was driving down, we picked up some strawberries, some peppers, and some oranges. My wife and my brother and I, so shout out to Burry. It's one of those things where I thought about it, and I was like, I remember watching a bunch of videos of people in El Salvador who were going on and helping farmers, actually people who had farmer markets, adopt Bitcoin and use Bitcoin as a form of payment for their produce. And I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know if I could take the time. I was a much older gentleman. It's one of those things where if we were to get 1 or 2 people You know what I mean? And again, I'm gonna use Albania as an example because not only am I Albanian, but also I'm here, obviously, you know, live, watching this beautiful sunset as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it with me, whether you're watching live or you're watching this sometime in the near future. But for me, again, you know, the whole name of 21 million, I wanted to get across that it was very important. And shout out to my guy Prelude. It was very important to me that, you know, people understood why 21 million was so important, right? Whether it be US, or any other country in the world, the amount of money that can be printed is unlimited, right? It's infinite, and that will devalue your dollar over time. Now imagine if this person who I bought some produce from earlier today were to accept Satoshis over the past 10 years. Not only would his money be worth more because Bitcoin has increased, but he would probably have to work as hard, right? One of these things where, you know, it was about €3 for me to buy, I don't know how many peppers, 3 oranges, and a pretty much a case of, you know, strawberries. And one of those things that kind of gets you thinking, like, there's so many places in the world that survive of $300-400 a month. This is one of those things that equals the playing field. You know what I mean? It's important for people to understand this early what the change is going to be of Bitcoin, you know, because everybody looks at it as an investment, but it doesn't matter what the price is, whether it's $1 or $100,000, it's still going to be used the same way. You know what I mean? So for me, it's very important for people here to not only, again, use to get into mining. Number one, it can help with the electricity problems that we have here in Albania, but also can help heat the greenhouses, especially in the north. You know, so for me, we talk about the limited supply. Also, the peer-to-peer network is huge. You know what I mean? One of those things, again, Albania is the highest percentage in growth when it comes to tourism over the past 2 years, as well as the first highest in Europe and the second highest in the world. So people have been seeing pretty much this gem that we have. Not only is it very cheap, of course, to visit here, to stay here, and to eat here, but it's one of those things where it's very clean. It's a beautiful country. The people are awesome. Maybe I'm a little biased during the space, you know, but it's, again, imagine if everybody who was investing and taking dollars or euros or lek or whatever it might be were to take Bitcoin instead. You know, we would be able to, obviously, after 4 years of a halving, if you don't know what a halving is, basically every 4 years the Bitcoin network takes double the energy for these miners to create half the Bitcoin. This kind of creates more of a supply crisis, and you usually see an increase in the price. So, you know, all these people that have been working so hard for $300, $400, $500 a month, imagine after those 4 years, their $300, $400, $500 a month that they're taking in, whether it be from fresh produce or a actual wage, is gonna be worth way more. You know, so the question really is, I guess to you, I would love to hear how maybe whatever country you guys are in, whether, again, only a couple people listening live, but I'm sure people will listen to it afterwards. What is it that you think will be the benefit of not just Bitcoin in your own personal life, but also to maybe your country that you live in, your community, your family, right? There's only 21 million. You know, I was explaining to these two younger kids that I met in Tehran. So if you guys watch this video, I want to shout out to you guys. It's one of these things where there's only going to be 21 million, right? It's a scarce thing. You know, you can't print anymore, you can't create anymore, you can't generate anymore. And that's where it's going to make a big difference. You know, when we are talking about Bitcoin being in the hundreds of millions, right? I saw something today that US is in about $30 trillion in debt. You know, we are nowhere near where the potential of Bitcoin could actually go. And again, when you watch this video, I hope you do enjoy this sunset. You know, obviously a little bit colder today. I think it's April 22nd, not April 21st, but hopefully it's going to be a great summer. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that things just get better, because as you see a lot of things going on in the world, not just Albania, but a lot of places in the world could use Bitcoin. You know what I mean? People that have been using that have been saving their whole lives to stack a certain currency are basically become worthless. They can't even go to the banks. They can't really do too much at all. You know, so again, just a couple of points I wanted to put out. I wanted to enjoy the sunset with everybody as well. It is my first live video, and we'll wait a couple of minutes till the thing goes down. Buri's got in the background, just chilling. You know, we're gonna see probably what else is going on for tonight. But again, like I was saying earlier, you know, there are many different things, and hopefully you understood, for anyone watching this video, why it is important. It's really not that complicated, you know. And again, something starting as, you know, go to a farmer's market, even a CDC DeFi wallet. You know, I know people have talking before about crypto.com burn. You know, for me, it doesn't really make sense. You know, you want more people to use a token, then you have to actually get out and see how can we help businesses get onto crypto.com network, right? Because they're the ones making all the transactions. So if a business gets onto crypto.com, you can expect many other people to want to invest in it as well, you know. So for me, this is one of those things to keep out there. A burn is not going to make a big difference, right? And the same thing for Bitcoin. You go to a farmer's market, teach people that why they should want to accept Bitcoin for their produce, except for instead of a dollar, a euro, whatever currency might be in your country, you know. I know for me, when my brother and I started our business, we would love it for people to pay us in Bitcoin, you know. So for me, it's one of these things that we're only going to get adoption if people really see why they should get into it, you know. And the sun is setting, the water is moving. Sometimes we forget that we're just on a ball in the middle of space, man, and we take things too serious, you know. I know some people were joking around in the timeline right before I made this video. You know, I think that hopefully you guys can watch this, enjoy a little bit, relax a little bit, because really nothing's that serious. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to figure out is, why did we get into this in the first place? You know, if we don't really believe into crypto making adoption, what can we do? You know what I mean? So I probably should have shared the link on Twitter, but what I'll do is, after this live is over, hopefully the video will save and I can just share it as well. So I thought it was beautiful. I think that we're gonna keep this thing going, because I would imagine the sky is gonna change colors in just a little bit. But as you guys saw from the beginning, the sun was up. We enjoyed a nice day at the beach. Buri went swimming. I went about, you know, just my ankles in with my beautiful, amazing wife. And we just kept it like that. You know what I mean? So Buri's got the guts and the glory for today. Was great. The water was great. It's a bit chilly on this side, but still not a problem. You know what I mean? We're hopefully gonna have a nice summer ahead of us. If you're gonna be coming to Albania, definitely do let me know. And if you have any questions, especially no matter where you are in the world, but for any Albanians in general who either are in business or in Albania, Kosovo, or any part of the Albanian states, Macedonia, Montenegro, Kamaria, just let me know, and we will hopefully make a difference, not just in my life, but in your guys' life as well. Again, this whole thing is about education and helping each other. You know, when we take a step, after 4, 5, 6 years, you'll see why Bitcoin is important. No one that's held Bitcoin for over 4 years is in the red. That's one thing that you got to understand. And again, hopefully you guys find some happiness, some much love and peace to you guys. What I'm going to do is enjoy this sunset with my family once this video is over. We're about 13 minutes in, and I'll probably run it for a minute. I'm gonna have a nice song to go in the background with this, but so just give me 1 second if you don't mind. I'm not really too sure which one to put on, but I'll see exactly what's going on in just a second. For me, it doesn't really matter. It's more about let me see, enjoy myself, you know. So let me see which one I'm gonna end up playing. I'm not too sure yet, but I like this one actually. I'll play a different one. Where is it? Donald.
Ama sot ti nuk je, më dhe nuk vi, vete po hu, aty shto dit, pak ta shtiti dhe të falë ma, jep ma një shikim ti fryt më nalë ma. Ama sot ti nuk je, më dhe nuk vi, vete po hu, aty shto të qa du me nejt veç me ty. Na i herë s'do me pa vetë pasi se ti ke dit veç me në më